Hello and welcome to another episode of Steel First Speaks. This is the latest in my series of I don't like these classes, what do I buy? So let's just go to generic Partner Mistveil and talk about what we've got. So you are looking at Partner Mistveil, you're like, look, I'm not playing Assassin, I'm not playing Mystic, I'm not playing Ninja. What am I buying? Now, obviously, it's a given that you're going to go, I've got some here, you're going to find your class Majestic, right? You're probably going to buy your Visit the Goldmane Estates or that kind of thing. You're going to pick those up. They're not that expensive. But what about the generics, right? So there's a few actual candidates that you might want to pick up a playset of in this set. So the first, of course, we can talk about is Stonewall Gauntlet. This is when this defends an attack with greater power than its base, opposing attacks get -1 this combat chain, and it blocks for 1. This is an Art of War killer, right? So if you're playing as a deck like Zen that plans on going huge on combat chains, 6, 7, this is amazing. So, if you're thinking, do I need one for your collection? I would probably pick one up. Ninjas are looking good. Art of War is such a powerful card. There's always going to be this buff style. And, I mean, really, if you're thinking about what does an arm piece block for, normally you get 2, maybe 3 life out of your arm piece. Sometimes it threatens 4 damage to your opponent. If this is blocking for more than 3 or 4, maybe even 6, it's an amazing card. It's super above rate. Would I pick one up? I actually think I would. I think that's a card you want to have in your collection just to help you counter aggro decks. Now, maybe if you play like a warrior or someone with good, good glove slots, which, has armor on, can maybe block for 3 with an ability, then you don't need this. But I think for a lot of people, this is going to be a good one to have in the back pocket. Rowdy Locals. Actually, a really good card. This part isn't as good for everyone, but if you're playing a hero like Fi or you're playing one of the assassins that generates tokens, then you can discard a token and you can get this effect. It's also a blue that blocks 3. It's not that expensive. I would pick up 3, right? I would, genuinely. I think this is going to be a very interesting tech card. I think there's a lot of times where a card left in your hand is not worth a card in your opponent's hand. You can imagine a situation where I've blocked with a full, where I've attacked with a full 2 or 3 attacks, my opponent hasn't blocked, I finish with the Rowdy Locals, they either have to now block or I can take a card out of their hand anyway and ruin their combo turn. Really disruptive of people like Brutes. The weakest link, you may or may not need this. This really depends on how good Mistveil heroes are. Personally, I've picked up a playset, but genuinely, I think you potentially could miss this and Rowdy Locals. The only must buy I have really, I think, is this, depending on the class you play. And I think maybe this is a must buy as well, because these 2 for 6s that counter are just always really good, right? They're always really good. When those heroes are being good, this is a really good counter. If someone like Zen isn't blocking you because he's used his Traverse the Universe and you send this, you can really mess with his plan. So again, it's like Stonewall Gauntlet. It's a good counter card, but it's not really like a staple that's going to go into every deck. Prismatic Leyline, again, kind of fits that bill as well. If you're playing a class that can take advantage of this, mostly like ninjas and assassins and stuff, you kind of know. But again, it's not really a staple. So if we think about staple ratings, I don't actually view any of these as must-buys. I think it's for you to judge based on your class, whether you have good glove armor, all this kind of stuff, whether you're playing against a lot of mist heroes, you need disruption, whether you're playing a class that can do multiple attacks a turn and get full use out of this, or whether you're playing a class that often finishes a chain link with Go Again, so you can play Rowdy Locals for free. The actual only ones I think are must get from this set are thankfully rares and commons. I think you should pick up a playset of Blanche, so 3 for 7 thing. This is almost as good a counter to Mistveil heroes as the weakest link, and it comes in for 7. I think it's fantastic. The other card I think you should definitely pick up a playset of, Battlefront Bastion. It is a common, but firstly, it's a 3 for 7 that blocks 3. There's a lot of decks that fits into as a popper. The other thing, of course, is that the block is split up over 2 attacks, so it's really good into a lot of decks that like to come in for breaks. I think this will find its place in a lot of decks in the same way that Fiendel's Fighting Spirit and other things did. So I think those are my must pickups. the reprints or whatever. Ward of the Seeds is okay. These emissary cards are all okay, but you know, are you really trading a card from your hand just to do one of these things? I don't mind Emissary of Moon if your class has a lot of instants and stuff like that, but I don't think you need it. Gravekeeping is, again, a tech card. Maybe you want to pick it up. But really, I think the only ones I'm saying go and make sure you've got a playset of is Blanche and Battlefront Bastion. I think the other ones are up for debate, so not really sure. But you can make up your own mind on that.